G'day guys and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video I will be predicting the 2023-24 NBA season. Very excited to jump in and do this for you guys. Let me know down below what your predictions are for this coming season. Now I've got all my predictions written down on my phone, so if I look down to look back up, that is pretty much why. So I guess we'll just jump in. So what we're going to do is, first off, we're going to do teams missing the playoffs, in my opinion. Then we're going to do the teams making the play-in. And then finally, we're going to finish the video where then we're going to do top six. And then finally, we're going to finish the video doing awards and then the playoffs. So I'll do it all on tier maker for this side of things, and then I've got another little thing we'll do for the awards, and then we'll jump over and do the playoff predictions. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, for the West, the bottom team in the West, in my opinion, I'm going the Rockets. I don't think they will pose any threat to anybody. Personally, I think they'll be right down to the bottom there. Next up, going to the Spurs. Yeah, I know they got Vic, but I don't think big Victor Wembanyama will. I don't think he'll really do much in the first season. I think he'll be at least top 3 for Rookie of the Year. Don't get me wrong, but I can't see the Spurs really doing much this season. Honest opinion there. Blazers, I've got next up. Look, they could surprise a lot of people. They really could. I don't doubt that there is a possibility they surprise everybody. I don't doubt that, but I just can't see it happening. I don't see them making the playoffs, to be honest. Next up, I'm going the Utah Jazz. I think they'll compete, they'll be competitive, but can't see them making the play-in or the playoffs. Next up, this one's definitely controversial, but I'm going the Pelicans. I know Zion's going to be healthy. Everybody is excited. Let's go Pelicans. They're playing playoff basketball. I don't see it happening. I really don't. Zion, he's been so injury prone. I don't see him staying healthy. And I cannot predict them to finish in the playoffs or playing again. I've done it the last 2 seasons and I had an egg on my face. So I'm not doing it again. It's probably going to come back to bite me, but yeah, I don't think the Pelicans make playoffs or play-in. For the East, the bottom for the East, I'm going the Washington Wizards. I think they're going to be the worst team in the NBA, personally. And I know, again, they might not be, but I think they will. You know, Jordan Poole, good acquisition, but they've just lost way too much than what they've brought in. And, you know, Bradley Beal, he was there, couldn't help them. And now he's gone, and I don't see them doing well at all. Next up, Orlando Magic. Look, I do think they'll be competitive. I think that there will be some games that we expect them to lose in and they'll win, but I can't see a mass improvement from the Magic this season. Hornets, next up. Look, they could be a play-in team if LaMelo stays healthy and everything gels, but I can't see it happening. I think they'll miss playoffs. I really do. Next up, Pistons. I think they'll be one of the most improved teams in basketball. I think we'll see a massive jump. I think they will be, at some points of the season, competing for a playoff spot. Can't see them getting in there, though. So for the Pistons, I've got them finishing 12th there in the East. All right, next up, finally, the Brooklyn Nets. Another team, they were lucky to make playoffs last year. Like, a lot of that came off Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden. Tried to think then. I was going to say Kyrie, KD, Booker, and Durant. Beal. Jesus Christ, I'm having a shocker. So yeah, they are the teams that I think will miss playoffs in that order as well. So we've got 11th through to 16th 15th in the West, and 11th through to 15th in the East. All right, my play-in team starting from 10th all the way up to 7th for the West. The team I've got finishing in 10th I'm actually going the Clippers. I think the Clippers will struggle this year. I reckon they're going to look at trading either Paul George or Kawhi Leonard. I know it's a bold take, but I really do. I think they will be lucky to scrape into the play-in. I think it'll be a fight for that last spot between the Clippers and the Pelicans, in my opinion. All right, in ninth spot, I've actually got the Memphis Grizzlies. I reckon we might see a bit of a fall from them. I know, again, really bold call, but yeah, I think they might fall off just a little bit there, the Grizzlies. Next up, I've got my Timberwolves in eighth. Again, it's hard to say. The Timberwolves, they could be a top 6 team. They could be missing the playoffs. It's hard. It is hard to say, but I do think that they will be a play-in team. I think they will be around the 7th to 9th seed. I don't think they'll fall too far behind, though. I think Anthony Edwards is going to take a massive jump this year. I think we're going to see a downward year from Rudy. Scoring-wise, I think he's going to drop a little bit more than last year, but I think his defense and his rebounding is going to improve once again. So, I think offensively, we're going to see a bit of a drop from Rudy, which I don't think he can drop much further, to be honest. But I think defensively and rebounding, he's going to be a beast. And, I think he's going to just let Cat and Ant-Man do what they need to. So I reckon we could see a good year here for the Wolves. All right, in 7th spot, I've got the Sacramento Kings. The Kings, again, they're a funny one. They are a funny one. They could be in the top 6. A bit like the Wolves. They could be in the top 6. They could be in the play-in, or they could be missing the playoffs. Crazy. I know, and I think they overachieved last year. I really do. I believe they overachieved, but I do still think they make, at the very least, the play-in. All right, for the East, I've got in 10th spot, I've done the Hawks. I think the Hawks will... I think they'll make the play-in again, but I can't see them improving. I can't... I would not be surprised if maybe the Pistons or maybe the Hornets got up there and they went down. They're two options I could see potentially, maybe. Even the Nets, possibly, depending on how well everybody goes. But yeah, I think the Hawks will be a play-in team, but I do think they'll get kicked out pretty quick. Next up, I've got the Toronto Raptors. So the Raptors, for me, will be the 9th spot play-in team. I think they're going to have a pretty decent year this season. So, I think the Raptors will fight it out for a playoff spot against the Hawks. And then they'll have to beat the loser of the next game, which will be between the 8th-seeded Bulls. Now, I think this is the last chance for the Bulls. They've got DeMar, they've got Zach LaVine, and they've got Vucevic. This is the last year for them, I think, and I think we're going to need to see a big year for players like Patrick Williams and Kobe White. Wouldn't be surprised if they tried to trade maybe someone like Kobe White. I think Alex Caruso is going to have a really big year for them, but I think they'll be an 8th seed. However, I reckon they can scrape into the playoffs. I really do. All right, next up, we've got the New York Knicks. I've got the Knicks finishing in 7th, play-in team. I just think that there's 6 teams in the East that I really like. I think that they're going to lock it in, and obviously you can definitely see 2 really bold calls here. I'm sure you can see the 2 teams I'm talking about, but I think New York will be a play-in team this season, and they will play the Bulls in the first round of the play-in. All right, we are on to the top 6 for each conference. So for the West, I'm going the Golden State Warriors. I think they'll be a very competitive team once again. I think they'll get close to that 48 to 50 win mark. I think Chris Paul is a great acquisition for them. I think he's going to absolutely kill it. And then, I just think, players like Kuminga and that, I think with Jordan Poole leaving and, a few other roster changes, I think they're going to step up and kill it for the Warriors. So Warriors for me in 6th spot. In 5th, I've actually gone the Lakers. The reason why, I think if AD can genuinely stay healthy, LeBron has a really good year once again. And I really think that Austin Reeves could potentially win um, Most Improved Player of the Year. I really do. I think Austin Reeves is a slept-on player. I think he's heavily underrated, and I think the Lakers will do quite well this year. Right, next up, this is my bold pick here. I've got the Thunder finishing in in fourth. Top four spot for the Thunder. Again, maybe I'm too hyped on them, but I think another year with Josh Giddey, Shea together is just going to excel this team into greatness. We see a lot of teams jump up from, closer to the bottom of the ladder up into the four before. We've seen that with Sacramento. We've seen it with several other sides. And I think Thunder will be one of those teams this year that really jumps up and surprises a lot of people. So they are in my top six. They're fourth. In third, I've got the Mavericks. I'm hoping it works out for them. But I think that Luka and Kyrie, they're going to absolutely go nuts this year. Full season with each other. I think they're going to go crazy. I reckon Lively is going to get a lot more minutes, or he's going to get a lot of minutes. I think he's an underrated draft pick. I think he will be a big difference maker in the Mavericks season this year. I know you've got Powell, but I think Lively's the right way to go. All right, next up we've got the Phoenix Suns. I think Phoenix will close out a top two position there. You can't go past Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Like, they're insane. Insane. And finally, the Denver Nuggets took out the championship last year. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. You've still got most of their core there. Like, they're going to go crazy. I think they're going to have a massive season once again. I've got them penciled in for 63 wins, which ironically is not. It's third in the league for most wins. So just hang 10 because it's going to get better. All right, over to the East. Now, starting off in sixth spot, another massively bold prediction. I've got the Pacers finishing sixth. I think Tyrese Halliburton is going to have a massive year. And there's several other players that are going to step up and, have really big seasons for the Pacers. I've got high hopes for them, and I really do think that they can excel this season. So, I've got the Pacers at sixth there. At fifth, I've got the 76ers. I don't think they're going to have as good of a season as these four teams. I don't know. Like Joel Embiid, I think he's going to have a great year. I think Tyrese Maxey is going to have a great year. But another bold call, but I really think James Harden is going to regress. All right. The Heat are my team for fourth. I think they're going to have a big season as well. And Emo Jimmy Butler is going to carry this team to the playoffs. But honestly, if they don't trade Tyler Hero, I think he's going to have an amazing season. He's a great player. He is a great player. And if they do trade him and get something good for him, then I think that's going to boost them just as much. I really do. Then you've got Bam Adebayo as well, and a lot of other role pieces in this team. So, look, I think they're going to be an outstanding team. I think they're going to be tough to beat. And I think that I reckon Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry might get packaged together for a pretty sweet return. Another bold pick there for you guys. All right, next up, I'm actually going to the Cleveland Cavaliers in third. Man, look, I think they're going to be one of the dark horses this season. I reckon they could go to the finals. Be insane if they did, but I do believe quite heavily in what the Cleveland Cavaliers can do. I think Evan Mobley is going to have a Defensive Player of the Year type season. But I think there's two teams standing in their way, and that is the Boston Celtics, who acquired Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday. I think they're amazing signings. I think I've sort of underrated the Drew Holiday signing, or trade, I should say. But I think he will do an amazing job for the Celtics. And, they've lost Malcolm Smart. They've lost Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon. Marcus Smart, arguably one of the best defensive players in NBA. But to bring in Drew Holiday, who is another really great defensive guard. And they've got Derek White, who is also another great defensive guard. So, yeah, I think they're going to be a top 2 team. And then finishing it for me is the Bucks. I think the Bucks obviously should have a great year, all depending on depth. I think we'll see massive season. I reckon we could see 2 30-point averages between Lillard and Giannis. I really do. I think they're going to need to get close to that, because other than those two, where are all the points coming from? Don't really know. You got Lopez, you got Middleton as well, but yeah, I think that they're going to need a massive season. Look at the Bucks finishing with a record of 66 wins. So yeah, that is my predictions for the NBA standings. Let me know what you'd change down below in the comments, guys. If you have made it to this point, hit that like button and subscribe. And let's go over to the awards. Let's go. Righto, legends. Let's talk awards. So the awards we're going through here, we'll finish off with the MVP, but we'll talk Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player, Sixth Man, Defensive Player, Rookie of the Year, and then the MVP. And I'll give you 2 honorable mentions before we announce the winner. All right, so for my Coach of the Year, my 2 honorable mentions are Mike Malone from the Denver Nuggets and Rick Carlisle from the Indiana Pacers. I think the Nuggets are going to have another good season, and I think the Pacers will make the top 6. So I think Rick Carlisle will definitely get some votes go his way. But my winner of the Coach of the Year, I think will be, I'm going to butcher the last name, I always do, Mark Daigneault. I know I've butchered it, I know. I'm an Aussie, we butcher everything. But I think Mark will get the Coach of the Year. I think the Thunder are in for a big regular season. I think they're just going to build off that moving forward. So that is my Coach of the Year, Mark D from the AKC Thunder. All right, Most Improved Player. My 2 honorable mentions for this award. Number 1, Austin Reeves. As stated before, I think Austin is going to have a huge year, and I think he will be in the conversation for Most Improved Player. For my second honorable mention, I've gone with Cade Cunningham from the Detroit Pistons. I think Cade is, he didn't play too much last year. I think he's going to want to prove himself this season. And working with Thompson and Ivy, I think they're going to build a massive big 3 there. And I think that Cade is going to have a massive season. So he is my second honorable mention. And my winner is another Thunder player. I'm giving it to Josh Giddey. I think Josh Giddey is going to have a massively improved season. I reckon he's going to average like 13 to 14 points per game and like 8 to 9 assists and rebounds. I reckon it's going to be pretty close to a triple-double average for Josh Giddey this year. All right, my 6th man of the year, I've got obviously my 2 honorable mentions and then my winner. I think the winner is pretty obvious. I'd be surprised if not a lot of people had him. I think nearly everybody will have him as their 6th man of the year. My first honorable mention, Tyler Hero. If he doesn't get traded, I think he's going to be massive off the bench for the Heat. I think that's how they're going to utilize him. They're going to get him into that second team and just, go through like that. My second honorable mention is going to be Russell Westbrook. I think he's going to be revitalized and have a massive season this year. So I think he will be a 6-man candidate as well. And then finally, my winner for 6th man of the year is Chris Paul. I think this is a pretty easy one. If he has a massive year for the Warriors, he will be on the bench, I would say. I think he's going to really show why he deserves that 6th Man of the Year award. So Chris Paul is my opinion for 6th Man of the Year. All right, this third last award, Defensive Player of the Year. And I touched on this player a little while ago, but my 2 honorable mentions, Anthony Davis. I think if he can stay healthy, he's going to have a massive season. And Bam Adebayo, I think he'll have a big year as well. So they are my 2 honorable mentions. But my Defensive Player of the Year for 2024 is going to be Evan Mobley. I think he is going to just go to another level this season. And and I reckon he'll get it. He could also, with that being said, he could definitely be in the conversation for most improved player as well. All right, my rookie of the year. Now, I've got 2 honourable mentions as always, but I do also want to give a shout out to another player that I think could be in the conversation. So my 2 honourable mentions for rookie of the year are Victor Wembanyama. He's, at the moment, I think the favourite to get it. Scoot Henderson is my second one. And my third one, a little smoky for rookie of the year, is Lively from the Mavericks. I think he's going to have an outstanding season. I think everybody's underrating him. I really do. I reckon he will start for them, and he'll prove why he is the best centre for the Mavericks. So that's my opinion there. But my Rookie of the Year winner is Chet Holmgren. Like Josh Giddey, like Marky D, I think the Thunder are going to have a massive season, and I think it's going to be off the back of some great coaching, some huge improvement from Josh Giddey, and a huge year from Chet Holmgren, and the continuation of greatness from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. All right, and now the moment you've all been waiting for in terms of awards. My prediction for the MVP this year, my 2 honourable mentions, Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. I think both of those players are pretty much, they're always up there, around about there. Same with players like Joel Embiid and stuff like that. But my winner is none other than the Timberwolves number 5, Anthony Edwards. I'm joking. It's not. Well, I think Damian Lillard is going to have a massive year for the Bucks, and I think that's going to help this man out a ton. I reckon Giannis Antetokounmpo will win the MVP and continue on to more greatness as he adds another one to his list. So yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo is my MVP of the year, or most valuable player, I should say. All right, now let's talk play-in. So before we get to the official playoff bracket, we need to talk play-in. So the first 2 games will be the 9th versus 10 games, with the Grizzlies versus the Clippers and the Raptors versus the Hawks. Like the Grizzlies defeat the Clippers and move on to play the loser of the other play-in, and then you've got the Hawks beating the Raptors. The Raptors could win that one, but I think the Hawks will slightly edge them out there. Next up, you got the Kings versus the Timberwolves and the Knicks versus the Bulls. 7th versus 8th seeding here. I've got the Kings winning and the Bulls in an upset. I do think it is going to be a big year for the Bulls, so I think they move through after beating the Knicks. Then you've got the final matchups of the play-ins. The Timberwolves versus the Grizzlies, the Knicks versus the Hawks, and I've got both Wolves and Knicks moving through. So both the 7th and the 8th seed from each conference will move through, in my opinion. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the video here now. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and I'm going to jump back over, I think it's called Bracket Predictor or something, to show you guys my bracket. So let's get into it. All right, guys, here we are. We're at the final part of this massive video. I know it's gone on for a while, but we're at the end now. We've reached the climax. We're there. Pause. All right, let's talk the first round. So we've got the Nuggets against the Wolves, Thunder against the Lakers. That's a crazy one there. Mavericks against the Warriors, Suns against the Kings, Bucks against the Knicks, the Heat against the Sixers, the Cavs against the Pacers, another big call there, and then the Celtics against the Bulls. Let's talk it. All right, so Nuggets versus Timberwolves. Look, I do think the Wolves can be quite competitive in this series, so I am going to say the Nuggets win, but I think it'll be in 6. So, yeah, Nuggets move through there. Wolves are out. All right, the next one, we've got the Thunder against the Lakers. I reckon this goes to 7. I reckon this goes to 5. And the reason I think it'll go to 5 is because I think the Lakers will win. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, 2 players with a wealth of experience in playoffs. The Thunder, they don't have anywhere near the amount of playoff experience that the Lakers do. Let's be honest here. So I think the Lakers in the big games will get it done. They'll move through to the next round. Next up, we've got the Mavericks against the Warriors. I can't see the Warriors winning this. If I'm being honest, I think the Mavericks move through here. I'm going to say Mavericks move through in 6. I don't think it'll be close. I think the Mavericks will be too good there. I think this is going to bring an end to the Warriors era. And look, I know people have doubted them before, but I think the Mavericks move on. Can't see the Warriors going any further. Next up, we've got the Suns against the Kings. I think this one will be quite a competitive series. I'm going to go the Suns in 6. I just think they've got such a good side that I'd be very surprised if they were to lose that one. Then we've got over in the East, we've got the Bucks against the the Knicks. This one, I think the Bucks sweep. I think they win 4-0. I don't see the Knicks really posing too much of a threat. Heat against the 76ers. I think this game goes to 7 and it'll be extremely entertaining, but I do have the Heat moving through to play the Bucks. Next up, we've got the Cavs against the Pacers. Again, I think this will be a very one-sided series. I think the Cavs win this by 4. I think they sweep. And then we'll have the Celtics taking on the Bulls. Another series that's going to be, I think it's actually going to be highly competitive. I think this is going to be a year that the Bulls really come out to play. I think it'll be very close, but I do think the Celtics will have too much on them. So I am going to go the Celtics. But I wouldn't be surprised the Bulls put up a bit of a fight there. I am going to go Celtics by 5, though. Okay. So we've got Nuggets versus Lakers, Mavs versus Suns, Bucks versus Heat, and Cavs versus Celtics. So on this side, I don't think the Lakers are going to have enough depth to go any further. So I'm going to go Nuggets in 6. And then in this one, I'm going to go the upset here. I'm going to go the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are going to prove a lot of people wrong. Luka is really into his prime now. He's absolutely killing it. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong and show why he deserves to be up there with some of the big names in the MVP conversations and stuff like that. In this series, I think the Heat will be very. It depends on who they get. Like if they can nab someone like if they get someone decent for a Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero trade, then you never know, they could beat the Bucks. I think the Bucks will be too strong here. I'm going to go Bucks in 6. I think the Bucks will prove too tough for the Heat there. Then we've got the Cavaliers against the Celtics, and I think this is going to be a huge year for the Cavs. So I'm sorry, Celtics fans, but I'm putting the Cavaliers through. So we've then got both 1 and 3 seeds over on each side, which is insane to think about, but it's how it's come to. So Nuggets versus Mavericks. Nuggets looking to go back to back. Mavericks looking to get to the finals for the first time since maybe 2011. I can't remember the last time they made it, but I think this will be a very close series. I do think it'll go to 7, but I'm going to give it to the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks will get there. I think Luka wins the Western Conference Finals MVP, and on this side, it all depends on the depth here because I think the Cavaliers have crazy good depth. This is tough. I think this goes to 7 as well. I really do. I really believe this series goes to 7. I think both will be extremely competitive. It all depends on if Dame and Giannis can stay healthy. And I think they can. So I'm going to put the Bucks in through to there. Pretty happy to lock that one in. So you've got the Mavericks, you've got the Bucks. 2 elite players on each side going at one another. I think the Bucks starting 5 is it's probably a little bit more than slightly better than the Mavericks there. Oh, and Giannis wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So tough. Oh, I think Dame and Giannis do it. I think they do it. I think they go all the way. Obviously, Giannis wins the Finals MVP, and yeah, the Bucks are my 2023-24 NBA champions. Runners up, Mavericks. Let me know what changes you'd make, guys. I'd love to hear your predictions, even some bold predictions. That'd be awesome. But yeah, that is going to wrap it up from me, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.